All right, we made it. We're here, episode 50 of Test Your Might. And you guessed it, it is our weekly video game debate show podcast. We have a special guest, and rather than me do the introductions because I don't know him that well yet, I'm going to hand over host duties to Cicero here. Cicero, introduce our guest.
Take those host duties. When every hero's journey has a beginning, and my hero podcasting journey begins. It actually began almost 8 years ago with our current guest to the day. This guy was playing NBA 2K, whatever it was, on the PS4 on PS4 launch day, and was having a great time with the crowd. And I got to see him play on Twitch, which was new for those consoles. And I went in and I checked out Twitch and I checked out this dude. And then I started talking to this dude, and he was like, "Hey man, I write articles online for video games." I was like, "Hey, I know about video games and I can put two sentences together." I put an article together, and a friendship was born. And then we had conversations. That gentleman said, "Hey, I want to start a podcast." I said, "I want to start a podcast too." And then what we got, put that stuff in a bucket, and we pulled out Chicago. We pulled out SpawnOnMe. Ladies and gentlemen, from Chicago is my brother, Bronx native, now living in Portland. My dude, my brother Numse, Mr. Kahlief No Name Adams. Kahlief Adams, my brother, welcome to Test Your Might, episode 50. It is great to have you here. It's great to bring Chicago to Test Your Might.
Oh my God. What an amazing intro. My brother Numsi.
Yes, brother Numsi.
Brother Numsi. I love the fact that you have no idea what that means at all.
Shout out to the Golden Child.
Shout out to the Golden Child and the Bloody Porridge.
Yes, very underrated Eddie Murphy film. You kids go check that out. Ask your
go look that up. It's on Laserdisc.
Right,
you can definitely go see it. You can go look at it now.
Yeah. Be sure to rewind your VHS tape
in your Betamax as soon as you get it. Thank you for an amazing intro to the show. I'm very excited to be here. You know I love you. See. You are the Chicago in the Chicago.
That's right.
Always and forever.
Right on.
And I'm ready to rock. I'm super excited to be here and get it on with the rest of you gents and make it happen. I'm sad that you had Paris Lilly on the show. Once I heard that, I didn't know that he was on the show. If I did, then I wouldn't have come on.
Right.
But he broke it. He broke it. But I'm trying to come back and
right. Well, I hid that from you.
He was on episode I don't know, was it 30? Like we're still going strong. So I mean, he didn't break it.
I love it. He tried.
He tried.
I know he did.
I've been working out too. I'm trying to get them gains like Paris.
Man, I'm still on Team Cholesterol. I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure it out one day at a time. Punching myself in the chest, like, which artery is it?
Right.
Go first?
Honey mustard.
Yeah, basically. Oh my God!
Right.
Super excited to be here.
I enjoy honey mustard.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's one of the best mustards.
Yes.
Top 5. Maybe is that going to be our leaderboard? Is top 5 mustards?
Sauces.
Oh man,
no, but I like it.
I was gonna say if they was gonna get into that realm, I'm like I'm good on that one.
Yeah, right.
I don't
know. That might be too much of a layup for Paris for you, man. Right. I'm sorry.
Oh. So all right. So since we're already off the rails, I've got to say, as a New Yorker,
yes,
I've got to tell you what I introduced my new brothers to.
Oh gosh.
Oh yes.
Right?
Oh, this is gonna be great.
It is great, actually.
So
can I actually tell you this? Can I actually tell the story?
Please tell the story. All right,
it's gonna be so good.
Perfect.
Oh God.
So, we were podcasting one night, and we ended the show, and Cicero was like, we were talking about like steaks or something, I don't even know, but he was like, have you guys ever tried Pitaluga sauce?
Ooh.
And,
yes.
and we're like, no, like we never had it. And he's like, oh, well, you will now. And so literally as we're just like talking, he's on Amazon buying Jelly and me a 2-pack of Pitaluga sauce.
Yeah.
And so like 2 or 3 days later, we get it back, we get the package, and I look at the bottle and I am absolutely confused. I'm utterly confused because here I am, Cicero's been hyping this up and he's pronouncing it Pitaluga. And I read the whitest name I've ever seen on a bottle. This is Peter Luger sauce, and not Pitaluga sauce. we're laughing hysterically. I called Cicero that day. I was like, hey, this is the wrong sauce because you got me Peter Luger sauce instead of Pitaluga sauce. so we're dying.
And I'm like,
Oh my God.
yeah, no, you got Pitaluga sauce.
One of my favorite things about, because this is going to turn into a love fest. Right. One of my favorite things about C is that C, when he gets really excited and hyped about a thing, he will talk it up to the moon.
Right.
And he will make sure that you get a chance to experience it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which I think is great, but also C will pronounce a thing with an accent that is not close to the thing that it actually is
I got this,
at all.
Jelly had the same reaction. He was like, he got the bottles.
Pitaluga sauce. Pitalugah. Pitaluga. Right? It's Pitaluga sauce.
It's Pitaluga.
It's Mediterranean.
Right.
And it is,
It's got hummus in it.
Anyway,
Peter Luger sauce.
Oh my God, my face
Peter,
hurts.
Peter Luger sauce is very good. Definitely
Yes.
try
Very
it. I put it in. Believe it or not, I put it once in my Kraft macaroni and cheese, and it just made it so much better. Anyway, Jelly,
Reasonable.
I'm gonna hand it off back to you because we.
Oh, this is the end of sauce talk. The end of sauce talk.
We're almost there. Kahlief, let's get your plugs in now, and then we'll get into the meat. So, what do you do, man? I mean, we know you got SpawnOnMe. Where can we find it? What is it?
SpawnOnMe is a premier podcast spotlighting people of color in the video game industry. Has been going strong for almost 9 years. Started with me and C. Wanted to share conversations around blackness. Wanted to share conversations around gaming in a smart, intelligent, Pitaluga kind of way.
Why do you have Cicero on the show then?
Saucy, right? Exactly.
No, it's all a part of the history of the show, so it's all in there for sure. The pedigree is there for sure. And yeah, it's been great. We've been having conversations for a long time now about like what the industry needs in terms of conversations around underrepresented folks, what the industry needs in terms of conversations around games through a prism of blackness. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of work, and it's been just very busy, and it's a long haul. So doing the show, it's on every podcast platform on the planet. Check it out on Fanbytes Network. They are our hosts. They are the mothership right now.
Nice.
And we rock every Friday. Every Friday a new episode comes out. Live show on Wednesday nights, twitch.tv/SpawnOnMe, around 6 p.m. PST is when you can go watch the live show.
All right. Dang, that's awesome. I didn't know you guys had a live show. That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m. Pacific Standard, right?
Pacific, PST.
Yo, my time zone. Sorry, boys. All right. If you are here watching, enjoying, or listening, please leave us a review, whatever you're watching, listening, or viewing us on, whether that's YouTube, yada, 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 Spotify, Apple, blah, blah, blah. We would appreciate it, love it, and thank you very much for it. If it's positive and appropriate, we'll read it. If it's inappropriate, we are not going to read it online. Sorry. We might do a socials post for those ones.
Right.
How about that?
Maybe I'll read them and test your might.
There we go. I'm completely okay with that. Quick little housekeeping before we begin. We have a new episode of the 90s First Show. Will be live this Friday, October 8th. If you are watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing so we can get 100 subscribers and get our custom link so we can just have it at the 90s First like everything else is. They put it behind a subscriber wall, and we're not there yet, but we're getting closer every day.
Yeah, subscribe, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let's go.
Normal YouTube stuff right there.
Yeah.
All right, into the meat of the episode. We do with our new guests guts segment. So Kahlief, it is your turn. If you have the guts, are you ready?
I'm ready to get the aggro crag. Let's get it.
He knows the reference.
Let's go.
God.
Okay, first question. What is your favorite video game of all time?
Ooh. Oh man, of all time. That's difficult. That is hard to nail. I would say
guts.
Yeah, that's no joke. I'm grabbing for the aggro crag, and another person from Nickelodeon is stabbing me in the leg as I do it. He's like, you can't do that. Wow. I would say my favorite game of all time is probably Metal Gear 3. Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably my favorite game of all time.
Okay, great answer.
Yes.
Anything in particular stand out about that game? Why is it your favorite?
Because Metal Gear Solid 3 predicted the future, like in a really wild way. Like if you combine 2 and 3, if you really think about everything that Kojima was inhaling at the time, he was like Kojima Damas in some weird way, where he predicted the way we've been talking and dealing with each other on social media, the conversations around war and conflict within our countries and other countries. He predicted certain technologies that wind up coming to fruition. And then you have all of that surrounded by Solid Snake having the best the best antagonists within the series kind of coming to fruition with folks like the End and all those other kinds of characters. And then you lay on top of that the addition of the camo system, which I'm still trying to hope that they bring back in some real way, the Octo camo system with all that kind of stuff. And it was just brilliant. I don't think people understood. Like, I think people think about Kojima as an auteur, and they're like, oh, he's so smart and he's so lovely, he's so brilliant in the way that he does his games. And I'm like, yeah, he cool, but if you just use that alone and give him props just on that, like, he really did predict so many parts of the future of games in the world that we wind up seeing now. So you got to give him props for that. Like, I don't think anybody else, if you think about games that have come out in the past 10 to 15 years, no one else has done that. He gets a chance to claim that. So that's pretty fantastic.
All right. Yeah, he hit it like the Simpsons did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right. Favorite video game of all time was Metal Gear Solid 3. What is your favorite video game console of all time?
The Vextrex is my favorite console of all time. I went very old school.
Wow.
On that one. Probably half of your audience was like, what did he have a stroke?
Right.
Half of this podcast is having
It ran on Peter Lucas sauce.
It's an old school boob tube style video game system.
It is one of the best things on the planet, because the way that you would differentiate the way the screen looks was that it had these plastic films that you would overlay on the screen itself, and that was the way that you had your new board for that game. It was a cartridge based system. Shout out to Jerry Lawson.
Yes.
And then it had a controller that tucked into the actual base of the console, and you flipped it back out, and it had one joystick and 4 buttons on it. And it was brilliant, because it was one of those things of, like, you know, I'm old, so when you go past the ColecoVision and the Intellivision and the Atari, and you didn't really have that, like, This is it's a standalone thing that felt like an all-in-one machine. You didn't have to connect it to another TV. You didn't have to get it the RF switch, like do all that kind of stuff. It was all encased within this one system.
Yeah, it's got it all.
And it was dope. It was like black and white vector graphics.
They were black and green. Graphics? Black and green. They were vector graphics. Yes. That's 100% vector graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had a little handle on it. So it was basically a miniature TV. If you've ever watched Adventures in Babysitting or something like that, it's when they're at the bus station and they have that TV that's connected. That used to be a real thing. Like TV was connected to a chair and you put money into the TV and you could watch for like 10 minutes. Well, that like the size of that TV was like the size of the Vectrex. So you could just grab that and carry that thing with you wherever you went. And that was all you need to do was plug it in and have your overlays and your cartridges, and you were able to play games. Vectrex was dope.
It was a wild machine.
Yeah.
I'm sad I still don't have it. I'm sad I still don't have it. My grandma threw it away.
Oh,
no. Yeah, she threw it away because it was one of those things. It's like I was like, but you bought it. Why'd you throw it away? Like you're the one who gave it to me. Why'd you throw it away? It was actually one of those things of like, and I don't know if this happens in other folks' households, and maybe I don't know if this is like a very black household thing. Tell me, see if this is like a thing that happened in your household. Was like if there was technology that went out and you were like, I'm not going to use it anymore, or it's like going to go away, or you need to throw it away.
Right.
Like. Did your folks like cut the cables on it so no one else could use it?
My grandmother definitely did. My grandmother absolutely 100% would do that. Would cut the cords on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, as if to say, this is finished.
Yes. I spent money on this.
Right.
No one else will get enjoyment out of this.
Will use
but
this.
You. Yep.
Right.
And it was she cut the cables on it, and then ever since I've been trying to track one down, and they are very, very expensive now.
Yes.
I'm looking at them on eBay. Yeah, you can buy a Series X instead.
Really?
Are they in that $500 range now?
This one, there's one here for $255, 7 bids, but still got 22 hours left. So,
whoa, that's not bad.
But it doesn't. Oh no, it's got 5 cartridges with it.
Oh, that's not bad.
There's another one that costs $2,100 though. So,
wow. Yeah, so that means that $250 one isn't
It's
working.
about to shoot up. Yeah, right. It's not real.
That means it doesn't work. That means you get the shell and the cartridges, and you gotta fix it. Yep.
It's a Vectrex. It's a Vectrex case with an Etch-a-Sketch in it. Right?
it can't be that hard.
Vectrex sounds like rocks.
Somebody's grandma cut the cords off of it.
Right.
Yep.
You're gonna get it back. It's gonna be your Vectrex.
It's Vectrex.
Smells like the Bronx. Why?
Oh no!
Amazing.
I've
smells like
Bronx
Fabuloso.
Before, so I know that smell.
Hey, it's true.
Yeah,
reasonable.
Like Fabuloso and poverty
and Tampico.
Quarter waters. Yeah, right.
Tampico fire. I thought it had way more sugar. So this is a parenting fact right here for anyone watching. Listen, Tampico very low in sugar.
Very low in flavor too.
Yeah,
a little bit, but it's
like if you cloned orange juice. And you took all the good out of it.
And you added a little bit of pineapple flavor.
Right. And a little bit of burnt plastic. It's like,
smooth.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Off the rails,
this might go down. Episode 50 might go down as the most hilarious episode.
Reeling us back in here, we've got Metal Gear Solid 3. We've got the Vectrex system, console, all-in-one gaming platform. And last but not least, we need to know, if you could live in a video game world, what world would you choose?
Ooh. That one is the most difficult question out of the ones that you served up already.
There's a lot that goes into it.
I appreciate the thoughtfulness of that question, because that's a really difficult question to answer. I think the world that I think is actually pretty cool is the world of Sunset Overdrive.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Sunset Overdrive.
That's
Okay.
that's an interesting pick.
Wow.
I think because in a weird way, like your world is kind of collapsing around you with goo goblins everywhere.
Right.
But
Oh, such a good game.
you're in this kind of like super vibrant, stylized space that is kind of dope because you don't really have superpowers, but you kind of do. So it's not like you're like the dude from Crackdown, and you're not like the dudes from Saints Row with the like you can do whatever you kind of want and bend reality to your whim. But you do have this like really interesting kind of play where it feels like a grounded world, but it has this very superficial, fantastical layer on top of it, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you die, you come back in a cool way. So it's like, so you get to resurrect in the coolest ways possible, which is kind of cool. I love that world. I think it was one that people didn't really give a lot of love, and I think I'm dying for someone to make that game. The next version of that game, bring it back because I think it deserves a sequel.
The reboot.
I don't want it to be a reboot. I want it to be a proper sequel.
Here. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's a whole thing, right? It's under Insomniac now, and Xbox won't be getting it.
Right. The sequel is called Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Marvel's Wolverine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Two good games coming out soon.
Yeah.
Soon-ish. Yeah.
Ish. 2027.
Right. Yes.
Whoa.
Right. Trailers.
Hopefully not
releasing-
that
That's the delay date of Starfield.
Right. that's the date when Cyberpunk 2077 will go live for Xbox Series S.
No.
and PS5.
That's the date when the seventh installment of GTA 5 will be out.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
The next series of consoles. Yes, exactly.
Accurate.
This
The
time
worst.
with weapon skins.
Right. Hey guys. Here's a good point. When GTA 5 released initially,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Kahlief.
Yeah. We didn't even know each other at that point.
Right,
What year
right.
was that?
2012.
2012.
That was right before. It was the year before.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It came out in September of 2012.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll be able to play it again on our new consoles.
Jeez. Damn, milking the heck out of that,
Right.
man.
Two
Wow.
consoles later. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive, though.
That is impressive.
So let's naturally roll this into what we've been playing. Kahlief,
Yes.
as our guest, you get to go first. What games you been playing?
I'm currently playing through Far Cry 6,
Okay.
which is interesting. I can't talk much about it yet because it's still under embargoes.
Yeah. I understand that,
Um,
but you are playing it, which is.
But I'm playing it.
And
I just finished.
And you're streaming it tomorrow night. I saw on.
Yeah, I'm
Twitch,
gonna
you
go.
can do some-
That's like the first, you can do stuff with it before a review.
Cool.
I finished Kana, Bridge of Spirits, which was a really interesting and fun game. Also finished up Deathloop, which I still want to talk to more people about Deathloop. I feel like it's such an interesting space where that game lives, and also now that people are coming up on the twist, it has changed the conversation in a much bigger, broader way where people are now doing this like, yeah, I gave it a 10, but now I'm taking that 10 back.
Right.
Which is really interesting to see on a game now.
Which means they didn't finish the game. Right.
Well, it's that, but I think it's also, I also think it's like one of those weird things where like I gave it a high mark. Like we don't really do numbered scores on SpawnOnMe, but I think in terms of like what I think that game does and what I think that game
4
is.
dopes out of dope.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like four dopes out of dope.
Yeah, I watched your review. It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it was one of those things of like the way that Sony and Bethesda told you to review it, you couldn't really talk about any of those things.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not like people didn't know and people weren't talking about it behind the scenes to be like, yo, that ending was weird. But it was one of those things where it was like, once you talked about it and you already did it, you're not going to do the addendum to go like, hey, everybody, that thing was really weird. And I don't know if I liked it as much as I thought I did because of the stuff that, anyway.
Did you play it on PC or PS5?
PC.
And how was your performance?
It was good. It was good. Like,
Okay.
I didn't have much of an actual issue. I know a lot of people had some technical issues with it, but for me, it was pretty fine.
Well, I'd like to.
I thought it looked really pretty.
I'd like to have a conversation with you about it, but I'm gonna wait until it hits Game Pass, next year.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be there 2027. Like I said, it'll be there at some point.
I don't think I'll be gaming in 2027.
God, I hope you'll be gaming in 2027.
I hope so too.
Come on, carpal tunnel be
gaming.
dang.
Right.
But the thing I've been playing the most of late has been the Halo flight.
Yeah.
And man, like, there have been so many conversations about if the campaign gets pushed back, what are they going to do? Like, does it still feel like Halo? All that kind of stuff. I have not had this much fun playing a Halo game in a very long time. Like, they could ship that tomorrow, tweak it a little bit, never put the campaign out, and I would be infinitely happy. Like, I know people are stuck on the co-op parts of. I didn't even catch it. I'm supposed to. Excuse me, but it's one of those things of just like you're in a room with a whole bunch of people that you play with, and you're just screaming and yelling and having fun, and it's not toxic, and it's great.
Just like Halo. Well, Halo used to be a little toxic,
right? Like, I mean, it's the place where you found, tactical crouching was the place that you did that, right? But it's tactical crouching. But it was like one of those things where I haven't had that feeling in such a long time.
Yeah.
And that feels so good. Like, I know people worried about Halo and being like, oh, it's not going to be what it used to be. And it's like that. Like, the conversation was less about it being what it was and more like the time had passed for Halo. And I think at least these flights that have come out have like completely erased that idea that Halo doesn't have a space in the kind of current BR first person shooter space, which I think is brilliant. I think 343 is like knocking it out of the park with this thing. And I think they get to also get a moment to kind of have that, reprise of like, oh, we actually still have some good stuff here that people want to play, because they were worried too. So it's dope to be able to see them kind of push forward.
Yeah, it's awesome and refreshing to hear that it is what those of us who played Halo back in the day wanted it to be and remember it being. That same experience, that same kind of experience, without it having to be the same thing.
Yeah,
which is what it sounds like. But that's awesome. Cicero, we're gonna jump on over to you. What have you been playing, man?
I played about 12 minutes of 12 minutes. I didn't have a lot of time to play games this week. I was doing a lot of family stuff, but I am determined to get to credits on 12 minutes. Because I have been waiting for this game. I am having a lot of fun with this game. I want to have conversations about this game. So I want to maybe get like 36 minutes in of 12 minutes, and maybe I'll be able to finish it. I've also been playing more of Madden 22. They added some patches into it. They still need more patches into it.
It's Madden,
that's a thing. But much like Ka, I have spent most of my gaming time, as limited as it has been this week, in the Halo flight. I personally, I went on to what are those Spaces. Paris was hosting a Spaces one day, and I jumped into a Spaces, and I suggested, and I think I may have said this behind the scenes to you guys, but not necessarily here on the show, that I believe that they should release the multiplayer in December and then release the campaign once it's ready for multiplayer. When that multiplayer component is ready, then release the campaign. And now what you've done is you have given yourself a tail for Halo, right? People are going to come in, they're going to be playing the multiplayer, they're going to be very excited about the multiplayer. Multiplayer is incredible. And the thing that has been happening is that people are reminded about what made multiplayer gaming fun back when people weren't necessarily playing multiplayer first-person shooters, especially not on console. And they were able to Bungie at the time was able to bring things that were found in like Quake and Unreal and those games, and bring that to the console. So you get the big battles with the guys and TDMs, but more importantly, team-based game modes like capture the flag. And there are no capture the flags anymore. There are none. And being able to have those types of experiences and reminding yourself of how great those were, especially with as gaming has matured and people have matured with it, you've got a group of gamers that were trolls back in the day and now are now they're parents, right? And they want to be able to stay away from the trolls and play games with their friends and be able to cooperate and do all those things. And this is a game series that is built for that, and it's going to remind people so much of that. If they released Halo Infinite multiplayer on December 9th in Game Pass, or it's free to play, whatever it is, it's free to play. You get all of these people playing and talking about Halo and loving Halo and having infinite amounts of fun with Halo. Sorry for the pun. And then you can release the and then you can release the campaign, and then you can get people involved in the story now that they've been sitting around and have been living in that Halo world, in that Master Chief world for a little bit of time, and then go through that campaign with their friends, go through that campaign by themselves, but have those experiences. And then what they would do after they've finished the campaign is they'd go back to the multiplayer because they had so much fun with the campaign. I really think that's a mistake on their part not doing that. Paris thinks that they shouldn't do that, but like a lot of things that Paris thinks, he is wrong.
Infinitely agree.
Right.
But yeah, we had that. I don't know if we had that talk on the podcast or after one night, but I know that you, me, and Jess and I, all had that. Same feelings on it. It'd be awesome. Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy on good, because they'll just keep hyping themselves up. Oh, absolutely. Here's the BR. Okay, here's the game. Oh, you were playing the game. You want to fight people? Back to the BR. Right. The campaign was awesome. You want to play with your buddies? Back to the game again. Right. Makes sense to me. Mike, what have you been playing, buddy?
I think they should not delay the campaign, but all right, we'll move on. I've been playing Psychonauts 1.
All right, getting ready. Right on.
So I've played through Psychonauts 1 before, but I haven't played it in so long that I wanted to play it really quick before I dive into Psychonauts 2. So honestly, that's all I've been playing. I don't have a lot of time for video games this past week, and so jumped down into. I'm playing Psychonauts 1 with my son sitting in the room, so it's pretty fun. But he is at the stage where he is literally asking me everything about the game, and it's almost to the point of frustration.
It's there. We know it.
It's there. Why'd you do that? What are you doing now? Like, why'd you jump? Like, what are you doing?
Why'd you fall off the map and die again? Why did you do that?
Yeah. Right. So, but other than that, like, I haven't been on the podcast in a couple weeks, I believe. But I cannot praise Xbox and their team with the auto HDR and on the Series X on these new fancy TVs. Like, Psychonauts is a 2005 video game that looks phenomenal because of those back end things that they're doing. And so I applaud that backwards compatibility team. They are doing fantastic job Pretty sure Psychonauts 1 runs at 60 FPS now too because of that. So like it's the gameplay mechanics itself are a little bit to be desired, and I'm assuming that they switched it all in Psychonauts 2 because some of the platforming is a little hard because it's a 2005 game, but I'm loving every second of it still. The story is crazy, kooky. Raz is awesome as a main protagonist, and I'm excited to jump into 2 once I beat the first one again. So
nice. All right. As per usual, guys, I'm playing Apex. If you wanna team up with me, squad up, and have fun, find me, DM me. I'll put my tag in our socials and stuff. And it's always Apex. It's Apex all the time. I love the game. I'm still on the grind for Diamond in ranked. They just had a split. They've gotten a new event going on, so I'm doing all those things. Having tons of fun with it. I will be taking time off of Apex to try Halo when that's ready. But still looking like 2 months of Apex. So
there's a lot of things going on, man.
There are, and we're going to touch on those here in a minute. And maybe there's something that we talk about that pulls me away from Apex. But we haven't talked about it yet, so let's hold off on that for a minute. But yeah, I've been playing Apex, and really just not a lot of time for gaming. I've been pulling a bunch of OT lately at work, so adulting, it's fun, you know. But hey, OT allows me to pay for these expensive games because they're like $70 pop now. So I'll take the OT. All right, into the news. The news this week, gentlemen, Tokyo Game Show 2021. We're just going to talk about it, cover it, some of our favorite highlights, stuff like that. We'll swing it right over to you first, Kahlief. Again, guests go first. We believe in that. So, Tokyo Game Show 2021. Give me your take. Hot take.
Tokyo Game Show is one of those weird shows that I don't like watch anymore. I used to watch it a lot. And then stopped kind of paying attention to it. So what I did as a good host,
Kahlief, there wasn't a lot of news this week, man. Just give me a break on the outline.
No, I'm saying it wasn't a lot of stuff, but you know, I did my homework before the show.
Samesies.
And actually, one of the games that I was not paying attention to that came back was Gungrave Gore, which. That to me, like, I love any game that feels like Equilibrium, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
so
get some
oh,
Gun Kata in.
Gun Kata.
Get some Gun Kata in.
That also sounds like just a phrase that came from TikTok, but it was pre-TikTok.
Well, I mean, it's Gun Kata sounds like. So a few weeks ago, I was talking about Forspoken and how I hate that name.
It's a terrible name,
It is the Forspoken is that name every year in gaming. There is that one game that has a nonsense name that you know has been fabricated and workshopped in some terrible boardroom. And then all the video game talking heads have to have conversations where they have to speak seriously about the name of some stupid game. Forspoken is that game this year. I hate it. Gun Kata would have been the other name for a game like that.
Could you imagine if they named this thing Gun Kata?
Gun Kata?
This way?
Right. Yep.
The interesting part about TGS 2 is just like it focuses on all the Final Fantasy stuff.
Right.
And C will attest to this, how much I despise Final Fantasy as a whole.
You don't like any Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy is just trash. Just like awful,
Final
bad.
Fantasy 7 is one of Jelly's favorite games of all time.
Curmudgeon has come to test
I love you, Jelly. I love you, Jelly, but that game is bad.
You don't like turn-based strategy?
I hate it. It's awful.
That's fair. If you don't like turn-based strategy, you can never like Final Fantasy. The older ones, original.
Well, here's the thing too, and I've shared this story before. Is like I did not get caught into the Final Fantasy zeitgeist when it happened in the 90s.
Good for you. It was an expensive hole to fall in.
Yeah, and then I went back to it because I was like, everybody keeps talking about Final Fantasy being the best thing since sliced bread. I feel like an idiot for not having played it, and if I can't be a hater on a thing I've never actually experienced. Went to go play it, and then fought a house with a tail for 2 days, and was like, I hate this thing. This is the dumbest thing on the planet. I hate it. But I did play the how do you even, like, as a Final Fantasy fan, how do you even, do you call it the remake? Is it the, like, because it's not the full story.
Right.
The 7 remaster?
Yes. I played through that.
It's a different game.
It's a different game, right?
Yeah,
And I
they shouldn't have
played
called
through
it
that.
7.
They shouldn't have. It feels different. It feels like it's not the same. So I played through that, and that was actually a pretty enjoyable experience. I think the actual way that they changed combat in that game was very different. Anywho, yeah, I think that, and then like King of Fighters stuff that dropped. I'm always a big fighting game fan, so like anytime you have more stuff like Guilty Gear or King of Fighters, I'm always down to see what the next step is for that.
All right. I'm gonna switch up the order. Mike, 2021 Tokyo Game Show. Whoa,
Yeah.
Tokyo Game Show.
Tokyo Gon Show. Yeah, right.
So I'm not huge into the JRPG scene nor like the anime style of video games, but one that certainly piqued my interest, and it came out this past year, and that was Scarlet Nexus. And so the biggest takeaway that I'm taking from it is that it hit Game Pass, and I could actually try it out. Because honestly, I wasn't going to spend money on it because it's just not my style of game either. I also, I don't know if it was part of it or a little bit separate, but I do know that Xbox did an accessibility thing as well. I believe it was kind of part of the Tokyo Game Show, so correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but I thought that presentation was good. I think it just the same as like SpawnOnMe is a podcast for like highlighting people of color. Like I love the fact that Xbox is becoming that brand for accessibility, and I absolutely love it. It's so cool. And like there's obviously studios that take pride in their accessibility for their games, but I'm glad that Microsoft as a whole is creating that atmosphere in the gaming industry. So very proud of them. As a avid Xbox gamer, I play all consoles, but mostly Xbox, so I'm very proud of that. Of that happening with that side. So, Cicero, what about you?
I really enjoyed I Am Groot in Japanese. So the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer at the TGS presentation was hilarious to me, and I'm here for all of that. That was fantastic. The other thing, like I couldn't give two craps about any of the stuff that I saw that I hadn't seen before, except for King of Fighter 15. That looked cool. It definitely did make me think of COD, like, oh yeah, here's some fighting game stuff. But yeah, outside of that, whatever. This stuff is not it. That show. It was more important for Xbox as a brand in Japan than it was for me as a gamer in America.
Are you surprised that they didn't announce them acquiring a Japanese studio yet?
I am. I am not, because I don't think that they're going to make that investment until they feel confident that they've got a foothold in the region. Mm-hmm. Now, the way that what they have been doing is they've been positioning themselves, and this part was brilliant. Like this part, the business part of it did intrigue me, and it was them leaning fully into talking about how you can play Xbox games and not own a console, right? Mm-hmm. Not own a piece of their hardware. Yeah. And talking about it being in 22 countries, but then talking about it being in Asia and how easy it is for you to be able to continue to play these games or discover these games from a console that typically doesn't have a lot of brand recognition within the region, and your barrier to entry into those games and that ecosystem is lower than it's ever been. And so that part of it was really intriguing to me. And I think that once they're able to, if they're successful in that endeavor, then I think they can acquire a studio, and that will also allow them to continue to build that brand in the Far East. And I love the fact that Phil took some time to talk about console shortages and what they're going to do to, in order, to kind of ensure that people around the world are going to be able to play Xbox games on Xbox hardware.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I, again, just read up on it, and there was nothing I can say that hasn't been said. I think that if we want a better, deeper opinion, we should talk to previous guest Sean Rugg or Brian, because they're big into the JRPG scene.
Yes.
Or Kim Hawkins.
Oh, or Kim, Kim Hawkins.
Yeah.
Also big into the JRPG scene.
He loves the Final Fantasies.
Yes, he does.
I love how you put an S on that, but I don't think you're like pluralizing Final Fantasy. Like you're just it's just a genre.
Right. No, it's just old people. That's old people talk.
Yeah.
It is.
It's on the Twitters.
It's the fantasies.
Yes, it's fantasies.
The Red Shoe Diaries of JRPG.
Yeah, right, exactly. Get Mariah Carey out here.
No. All right.
That's a Nick Cannon household. Okay.
We're here. We have arrived. We've made it.
Uh-oh.
It is time to test your might.
Test your might.
Kahlief, I know you're ready. I can see it right there.
Oh,
You're
we got it. Let's
comfortable
go.
sitting back. Is everyone else ready?
This is
All right.
preposterous.
Yeah, me and Kahlief talked beforehand. No, we didn't, but we did, and we're just gonna team up on Cicero. So,
hey, I'm ready for it, baby.
It is time.
Right.
We'll see what happens. All right. First question. Konami is having a contest for indie developers to reimagine one of their classic IPs. So, your job. I need you to pitch me a reimagining of a Konami classic and what studio you think should make it. Now, the way we do things here is it is the guest's priority to either go first, second, or in this case, third, wherever you want to fall in the lineup. So the power is yours, Kahlief. Where do you want to fall in this? Do you want to take the reins and power forward? You're the guy? Yeah? All right.
Oh, he's going.
I got
first.
it.
Okay.
I got it. Are
The
you ready?
stage is yours.
I'm so nervous. This
This is going to be so great. This is going to be so.
If you take my game,
Oh, you know which one it is.
Oh,
It
that's why
has
he's
to be
going first.
Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It
All
has
right.
to be Castlevania.
All right.
Okay.
And
I
the
purposely did not choose that one. All right.
Yes.
Go for it.
And the studio is Harmonix.
Ooh.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn Castlevania into a Rock Band-esque game where you are using the tracks to vanquish monsters as they come down the pipeline, and your power-ups are the classic power-ups you had within the Castlevania series. So like the boomerang crucifix, the holy water will do very specific things to help you vanquish certain monsters. But it's all about using a whip peripheral that you have to basically, like a light gun, you have to whip at the screen to be able to hit the notes or the enemies on screen while they come down the track. No one ever saw that coming. It coming.
Absolutely did not see it coming.
100% No.
I didn't say this game was going to be good. I said this is going to be a very special game.
Okay.
Accurate description. I like it. Okay. We're still giving the power to you. Who do you want to go second?
Oh, I want C to go second.
All right.
Cicero, you're up.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone will see this game coming either. Unlike Kahlief, my game will be good. He had 60% of a great pitch, and then there was the rest. But what we're gonna do is we're going to reimagine Hubert.
Oh, wow.
As
Wow.
in first person, done by the creators of Portal, Valve. So you're going to now be in first person, and you're going to be looking down now at your Hubert board and hopping in first person. And one of the great things about Portal was the sense you had when you were playing the game of falling, but also kind of feeling in control. But now you're going to do that within Hubert. And if one of the things that you know about Hubert is sometimes there were spaces in between the spaces, and you would jump on those, but then they had those platforms that you could jump on, and you could take those up and do all sorts of weird things, and they take you back to the top. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play some Hubert. It's a weird puzzle game, first person, made by Valve.
Made by Valve.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm in it. But we still got one more. Mike, what is your pitch? Reimagined Konami Classic.
Yeah,
and
well, if
which studio?
Kaz was 60%, then Cicero's was 30 at least. So,
I liked it more than that one. You got to give us some credit. Come on.
no, I'm just messing.
No.
I take it personally.
So
Michael Jordan.
let me take you back to last year. There were two games that kind of took the world by storm, and they were both party games. One was Among Us, and the other was Fall Guys. And they not only took the Twitch world by storm. I mean, Tim the Tan Man couldn't get a crown until like 3 weeks into Fall Guys, whatever it was. But Konami has an old game that I do believe, if you give the reins to Mediatonic, the developers of Fall Guys, that could create a fantastic Battle Royale type style Frogger.
All right.
Frogger. So the original Frogger was developed by Konami, and so we're bringing it back, guys. And more in a party style game. It's going to be somewhat like Fall Guys. You give Mediatonic the reins, but it's not necessarily like these different types of games. It is literally a difficult ramp, a difficulty spike throughout the arena of crossing a road and then crossing a river on logs. Like, I just think it would be fun. It would be challenging. You could add certainly different levels. I remember the 3D Frogger that added certain types of like environments that you can recreate. It doesn't have to necessarily be a road that you cross first and then a river or whatever to get the other side, but a reimagined, like, massive battle royale type deal of Frogger. It's worked with Mario, it's worked with Tetris recently. Fall Guys is technically a battle royale in a sense, and it has similar vibes to Frogger. Give Frogger to Mediatonic. They'll make a great Frogger party game battle royale thing, and we'll add some rhythm to it too, because we like Rock Band as well.
All right, we've heard the pitches. Now comes the battle. Kahlief, you're up.
Ooh.
Tell me what you think. Why is yours better?
I mean, first of all, if you're thinking about the other two kind of like IP, first of all, Castlevania automatically wins between Hubert or Frogger. It is a much more well-known, more tread kind of IP. It has gotten way more different angles to it. that you can tackle a game in that way. And it has a classic character in Simon Belmont where Qbert is just Qbert. Frogger never had a name. It was just Frogger.
Yeah, but he's iconic. Come on, get out of town.
Frogger has never had an anime made after it. It never had a Netflix show. And neither has Qbert. So
Qbert was in a movie. Qbert was in a movie.
In
Simon
Pixels?
Belmont was never on the big screen. Qbert was on the big
man.
I
screen.
could go to my
That's
backyard and live frog.
Right.
don't need to go to Netflix or Hulu.
It's like I can IRL this
I can
game.
IRL.
I think the twist on the rock band parts of that idea also broaden it out, brings it into a new fresh arena for new people to play, and also makes it something that you can get a little bit of a workout too, because you're swinging your arms around, whipping at the screen like that. I'm sure you're gonna definitely get in trouble, and protective services are gonna come out because you're gonna hit somebody when they walk through. But I do absolutely think that it would be an interesting and better game than either of the other ones that were shared today.
There we go. All right, Cicero. Thoughts?
Yeah, Kaz trying to get canceled by creating a game with a whip in it, where you whip people on the beat. So good luck with that. So much for your Twitter timelines.
See, his tweets there would be the first dislike button.
Right, exactly. We create a dislike
the
button.
trial period.
Right.
Just get snatched up real quick. Reasonable.
Frogger is cool.
Oh, yeah.
What you're proposing though sounds more like DLC for Fall Guys than it does an actual game though, right? Like that could just be a mode in Fall Guys. Cool nonetheless, but not a new game. Qbert reimagined would put a spin on a classic game that people haven't really thought about in decades, but the character itself is iconic. And if you can modernize it in this way, think about, do you guys remember Catherine, the video game Catherine?
Yes.
And that video game was incredibly weird, but what people loved about that game was how much of a puzzler it really was. You're going to be able to appreciate how much of the original Qbert really was a puzzle game, because it's in this first-person aspect, in this first-person perspective, and it's made from the guys that make Portal, so they know how to do first-person verticality better than anybody. And you're going to take all of those things and put them together and be able to experience this old game in a very new way that people didn't even think was possible. But once they play it, they realize, oh, this makes sense.
Listen,
Mike?
Qbert is iconic, but I still had to look it up just to remind myself, And Kahlief with Castlevania, they are re-releasing the games, and you have modern versions of the best of Castlevania, right? You have modern versions on the Switch with the re-release of the GBA versions just recently and stuff like that. So, I think Frogger has not seen its day just yet. And to your DLC point, I think Fall Guys is different enough because there's separate levels that don't necessarily equate to Frogger. So I believe that you could have more of a full-fledged game in where each of the levels has definitely more.
He's really trying right now because his throat's all messed up.
Sounds like you might have a frog in your throat.
Right. You might.
That's why I'm going to win. So, I think.
Don't croak.
I think well, here, croak this.
Bad dad jokes.
You're gonna have to understand that my game is going to appeal a little bit more to the masses, especially as a party game, especially as Delta variants around, people are still in their homes, like a party game where you could go online and hang out and chill and just have some laughs while your frog gets crushed by a semi truck. Like, I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Kai, you were just talking about how much fun you were having playing Halo with your boys or with your crew. I mean, get together with a bunch of people, have a crew of Frogger, have a fun time, drink a brewski or whatever, get flattened by a truck, don't land on that log, and have some fun.
Watch out for that tree.
Yeah.
Basically,
watch out for that tree. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think you'd have to really bank on nostalgia in a really hard way to get Frogger across the line in that way. And I just don't know. If it has that cultural relevance in that same way now, where even if you were to say, because like Fall Guys had its own kind of pastiche where it was like, this is the thing that is now what you're kind of understanding this game to be, even though it is basically what was the Japanese show that came from.
Right. Yeah. Hole in a wall or whatever
let me give you a theory, Kahlief. Like,
yes,
they recently just announced that there's an actual live action Frogger game show coming out. What if you release?
No, it's not coming out. It's out on Peacock. I've watched 5 episodes.
Is it really?
So then it's out. So then there's cultural relevance. Argument, get out of here.
Words are too hard.
Yes, words are too hard.
Yes.
I'll take that.
All right.
That's reasonable.
All right. I think I've heard enough here. The cultural reference thing, to be fair here, Frogger is a classic. Everyone knows it. Q*bert, another classic. Everyone knows it. Castlevania is absolutely huge. Everybody knows it. So that it's not going to win you any arguments here. I think I had to go based on the pitch of the game itself. The reskin Castlevania onto a sort of Rock Band-esque, and I was thinking more Beat Saber, just because it feels more that vibe. Maybe we don't have a full-on whip. Maybe you're just holding a cool braided handle, and there's nothing attached to it, so there's no bad images. We've got it working here. But I think the best sell here was Q*bert, reimagined in first person, done by Valve in such a way, described by Cicero. This is not me here, but in such a way that the falling feels real. The things you're doing feel authentic, playable, new, and, to coin the question itself, reimagined. So I'm going to have to give it to that. Frogger was, I think that'll be fun. I like the idea of skinning Fall Guys and giving them some frog outfits. That was a great just hit back on that. But yeah, we're going with Cicero. Cicero.
Thank you, sir.
Q*bert and Valve, a Portal-esque Q*bert.
Yeah,
was a great pitch. I didn't think it was at first.
I was actually thinking with the Castlevania pitch, I thought he was going to go Def Jam Vendetta, or what was that? Not Vendetta, Fight for New York, where you have to beat everybody on the beat.
Oh,
yes.
You have to hit the beat.
Grandma
literally.
Yeah, that's right. Grandma. Didn't I tell you?
Basically.
All right.
The whip was a cord that your grandma cut off your
Yeah.
You can play it on the Switch.
Played on the Switch.
Anywho.
In this episode.
Oh my goodness. Hey, it wasn't me. Usually it's me doing it, but I'm backseating this. Okay. Next question. October is going to be a big month for video games. No surprise here. So which game will be the best October release? Now, Cicero won the last round, which means the power would normally go to the other person. However, we've got 2. So we're going to do it the easy way, heads and tails. I have right here a coin. It's a silver dollar.
That's fancy.
So it
Is
is
that
fancy.
a double head?
No, it's just it's a Liberty
Well, it
Bell.
is JFK. So
The way that he was holding that Liberty Bell, it just kind of looked like a face.
It's my filter. Look how shiny that is. All right, so we will do heads and tails, right?
Sure. That's how it works.
Tails. Yeah.
50-50.
All right. Call it. Oh wait.
shouldn't I should call it.
Oh yeah.
I should call it, and then dole, and then we get to dole it out, and then
Yeah.
you get to decide who goes first. I guess. How about that?
Wait,
That
how
works.
about I be tails, Kahlief's heads, or vice versa? Don't matter to me.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, cool.
And then
That works.
it's fair.
All right,
All right.
sounds good.
You guys ready? I'm gonna try and get
Yes.
the ting in the audio just because. Tails.
All right, so I get to choose.
Yeah.
You get to choose. Yes, the power goes to you.
Spin that choice.
I'm gonna go first.
Oh, all right.
Oh, wow.
There is a franchise that hasn't been given too much love recently. There's certainly a bunch of people who love this game, who love this franchise, this behemoth of a kind of like cultural, almost cult classic type deal, in the sense that it doesn't get the same praise as Mario and the Zeldas, but October Metroid Dread is going to be the best game of October. I really just like the vibe of what's going on with that game. It goes back to the roots of the 2D platformer that Metroid is, and brightens it up. A lot of people are going to be getting their new Switch OLEDs on that day as well, whatever, if they hit that pre-order, and that game is looking pretty fancy to be on that OLED screen. Metroid has so many games that are just lauded as some of the best of all time. I mean, Super Metroid, Metroid Prime even, and yet here is a new installment in the franchise that is going to hit one of the best Nintendo consoles of all time, and that's the Switch. And so that's why I really think that there's going to be a huge install base for Metroid Dread. And I think what they're showing, the trailers that they're showing, like it really gives you the vibe of like Alien Isolation, stuff like that, with like a monster, just kind of chasing you and just stalking you and stuff like that. And I really think it's going to be a huge hit. And there's a lot of Switches out in the world. People are going to get their new SwoleEds and play Metroid Dread. People are going to use their old Switches and play that. It's going to be a good time. Best game of October.
All right. Mike, you get to choose who's next. You got the power, my friend.
Oh, guess go next. Go ahead, Kahlief.
All right.
Oh, that is rough because that was the one that I was going to pick. Oh, that's rough. This is like not. This is no way I can win this, but
Don't
I
say
will.
that.
I mean, Battlefield 2042 is my pick, but I think
We're talking about games that are coming out in October.
October.
yeah.
No, they got
Isn't it
that got
dropping in
delayed to
October?
November.
It got pushed. It got
Oh,
pushed.
that's right. It got
got pushed.
delayed.
Right. Well, for the first time, not the second time yet. Right.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it got delayed. Okay, so then that means that Far Cry 6 is my pick. Then.
All right. All right.
Since that's the case, because
He's played it.
because I played it and because it's on Stadia. I think that's the real reason why that game is going to be a top seller.
Yeah.
Is
That console
because
That's awesome.
that
it's
platform is
going to
doing
be
it.
on more consoles than a lot of the other actual games on the lists that we have. Is the
There we go.
reason I'm picking that game as opposed to the one that is going to win, which is Metroid Dread.
We
That's
don't
my
know
answer.
that yet because it's all down to the argument. Right?
Yes.
Exactly right.
Sure it is. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
He's not
Michael
starting off
Jordan is
super
also
strong
not the
just
best
yet.
basketball player ever.
Right.
The argument will win.
Okay,
hilarious.
Cicero, what is your choice? Best October release?
Super Monkey. No. So the
Battlefield.
right. Exactly. It's Forza Horizon 5 is going to be the best game in October. Released in November. The game is.
I'm so confused again. Did you guys read the outline?
Right.
Yes.
The game, honestly, there has been a lot of controversy, not really controversy, I guess, maybe, but conversation about this game, not because of the game itself, but because of other games that have come out that are similar to this game, that have had mixed receptions. But every time I've seen this game demo trailered, not really demo, because I don't know if we've actually seen. Yeah, actually, we've seen game demoing of it. This game is an onion. There are lots of layers to it, and I think that when people get their hands on it and actually get to play it, there's going to be a level of appreciation for this game that I don't think people expected when the game was announced and when they've been, as they were looking at it, and that is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that is going to be the game of October.
Fair enough. It counts. It's an actual October release. I like it. All right. And the battle begins. We've heard all the pitches. Now, why is yours the best? Mike, back to you.
So, listen, I've seen way too much of Far Cry 6. I mean, I'm pretty sure I already know what the game is. It's also a Ubisoft game. I think Ubisoft's style of game has certainly seen its days among a lot of the gaming community, I would say. Just that kind of that style of game. So I just don't think Far Cry 6 is going to do it. I mean, the one thing that is going with it is you got Giancarlo Esposito in that game,
yes,
and that is really, really awesome. But still, I think people are just fatigued on the Ubisoft open world games. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard to argue against that because I do believe that's going to do good. They are touting it as like kind of the Mass Effect of the Marvel universe. But I think one misstep that they do have is the fact that you only can control Star-Lord. He's the only character. And to be honest, I would love to take Groot for a spin, to take Gamora and Drax and Rocket Raccoon for a spin, and it's just kind of unfortunate that you only have Star-Lord as the main character that you're controlling. As far as Metroid Dread, you have a series that Nintendo has seemingly neglected, and they come out with quote unquote a stealth reveal, a stealth release that nobody knew about. I mean, maybe Kahlief did because he has more inside knowledge into the gaming industry than we at the 90s First do. But it was seemingly a stealth reveal, and then now we're getting this release in a franchise that is so beloved that seemed neglected because you have no updates on Metroid Prime 4. I mean, like, where is that thing? I'm surprised they showed Bayonetta 3 last week at the Nintendo Direct. I mean, let's be clear. So I honestly think that Metroid Dread is going to be the best in October, simply for the fact that it has been so wanted. Another game in the Metroid series, even if it wasn't Prime. Like, this is just perfect for a lot of those fans.
All right, Kahlief, defend Far Cry 6, man. It's your choice. It's a good game. Tell me more about it.
You chose this.
I know.
Or if you really want you can team up with Mike to try and beat Cicero. It seems like that's where we're going on this one.
I'd have to team. No, I'd have to team up with C to beat Mike because there's no way. No one's gonna beat Metroid Dread. I would have picked Back for Blood, but that's gonna be on Game Pass, so you're gonna lose sales on that because people aren't gonna have to purchase it.
At some point, I'm sorry. At some point, someone's got to determine how we discuss metrics for our Game Pass, right? Like, how do you measure success with as the future of gaming is seemingly a service like Game Pass?
It's interesting because I don't know, like, I think for us as like folks who are like looking at the industry as a whole, like, like what's the business case conversation around all that stuff, which I agree it is we're in a new world kind of with the way that winds up working. I think for the folks who are like in Game Pass, who are like, my game got into Game Pass, like they don't even care because they're like, I got my check already, I'm good, right? Like in a weird way, it's kind of great for them because they don't have to think about that part. I would say no other game in October, in any October ever in the history of gaming, has had you with a pet dog in a wheelchair as your pet. That alone is the reason why Far Cry 6 is going to be the biggest selling game of October.
Release date, isn't it first? I'm not trying to help.
Right. He's not trying to help you or anything.
It's definitely the first one available here. Right. I am, and when it comes to judging, I will be.
Earlier than the other games, and Giancarlo Esposito is in it, and you also can. It's also the only other game I know that has cockfighting in it that is legal.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
So there you go. Take that, Nintendo fans. Right. You don't have that on your swollen.
Kahlief's got whip games. He's got cockfighting games.
I'm the Michael Vick on this show. Just bringing in all the unreasonable, illegal games.
Kahlief's games are in Bogota. Right?
Should we move on to the next question?
Kahlief Adams' Bogota Adventures. Right?
We have to have Cicero give his. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy is the better release. I've got to hear whether or not it is. Cicero, tell me more.
Well, I honestly do believe. I really can't. There's nothing really that I can say about Mike's choice to denigrate Mike's choice, because Mike's choice is brilliant and, quite frankly, is the odds-on favorite to win this particular round. However, Guardians of the Galaxy has a puncher's chance because of how many different things that this game, or different genres, games that it will remind you of potentially as you're playing it. So Mike talked about how this could be Marvel's Mass Effects. It's like DOS effects. It's Mass Effect, but also if you remember, one of the game demos that we saw is there is a portion of The Walking Dead, the Telltale Walking Dead games in there, where you can make different choices, and the characters that are part of the Guardians will remember those choices and may act differently towards you, or there may be different aspects of the story that will change as a result of the choices that you've made. And then on top of that, so you've got those portions, and then you've got this action game that you place on top of that, where you may not necessarily be able to exactly. It's layers.
Like an onion.
When and that's what I called it. I called it an onion. So
Impartial.
Right. So I said it. He just repeated it. Yeah.
But
like That's bitter. So, but like
Love you.
the thing that's super cool is that you're also going to be able to use your non-player characters in combo moves seemingly ad hoc on the fly. So you can position yourself to get into a place where you can combine your talents with Rocket's to do something, or Rocket can get with Groot and they could do something. And so there are like all of these different permutations that you can actually use to perform different things during the course of the game. And who knows where this game is actually going to take you within the Guardians universe.
Space.
That's something that people are going to be talking about. And if there are multiple endings or better yet, not only multiple endings, but multiple pathways throughout the game, that leads to replayability. That leads to the virtual water cooler talk, aka Twitter, aka shows like this, where people can actually have like deep dive teardowns of the different types of things that you could do in this game. And I think it's kind of primed for that.
That was a great defense. That's all I was saying.
Great defense.
Impartial judge here.
Right.
Metroid Dread wins, but still,
Right.
stellar defense.
pretty handily.
Right.
No, I mean,
but no, it
to
was
be fair, I think I'm gonna get the Guardians game. I've liked what I see.
Yeah.
Seen.
Yeah.
It. There we go.
Yeah, I'm excited for that actually.
And Far Cry is going to be good. Come on now.
Far Cry is going to be a game released by Ubisoft in October.
Yeah, it'll be rinse and repeat, but there's a lot of people who like that game.
Yeah.
So
I've
they'll spend
got-
$70 on it and do it again.
I've got Ubisoft Plus. I'm excited for it.
Kahlief, can I just really quick side note? Do you want to know what was funny about Cicero in the early days of Test Your Might? And I say early, we're only video episodes.
It's a game.
But anyway,
People play it.
His like every week he would say, it's a game, people will buy it.
You know what that means. We know what that
He would
means.
say that
Right.
every single week.
I know what that means when he says that. I know exactly what that means when I hear him say that.
All right.
And I agree with him on Far Cry 6 about what that means.
It's a game. People are going to play it.
Right.
We're gonna play it.
What I'll say about Far Cry 6 is that as a result of being a Ubisoft Plus subscriber, and a subscriber to Stadia, and now Ubisoft Plus is doing streaming via your browser, it's never been easier to play Ubisoft games, and because you don't have to download them, you don't have to install them, you don't have to do any of that stuff. And it makes it a lot more palatable to pick it up, play a little bit of it, get a sense of what it is, and put it down without feeling any guilt about doing that. And it makes it easier for you to go back and try more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to Ubisoft Plus on that.
All right. That's a
Agreed.
fair defense. All right. So Mike, you won the last round. Power's going back away. Sorry, buddy.
No, it's all good.
Next question. All right. New World is now the most played game on Steam this year. So what IP would you like to see in an MMO base? What? Oh, wow. What IP would you like to see an MMO based on? There we go. And let's see. Cicero, you haven't had the power yet, buddy. Right?
Yes, I have
Kahlief
not.
had
I
it.
have.
Mike had
Right.
it. It's coming to
Right.
you. That's how we're going to do it. So
Right.
it's yours. You decide the order. First, second, third.
Okay.
How's it going to be?
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go first, Jelly.
Okay.
And I am
Nobody has
going to
passed up,
use.
have they?
No.
Oh, no.
No. I am gonna go first.
There's no
and
way
I
I
am
was
going
giving
to
Kahlief Metroid Dread.
Nope, because I was gonna take it too.
right. And I will use. See, I don't take layups, bro. I go out there and it's challenging. I'm going to use your words to inspire your words. Yes, your words, Jelly, to inspire the game, the IP that I am going to use as the game that should have an MMO. I have the power to select Masters of the Universe. Yes, a He-Man MMO.
Ooh. Interesting.
Okay. So pause there.
Right.
Who's up next? Who's second and third? We'll go through all of the IPs and then swing it right back around to you.
I will. You know what? I am gonna go to Male Adams instead.
Oh
Kahlief.
my God. Speaking about that, I just had to redo my passport. Anyway.
Oh my God. That's a story for another time.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
The IP that I would pick, and I wish that I was in a Hype Williams video.
Oh my God. However do you want me?
And I wish I had 2 milk jugs to clink together.
Oh.
Because I would pick the Warriors as the basis for an MMO in the world.
Okay. Mike, I think it's up to you now.
Listeners, I want you to pause the episode right now, and I want you to go to YouTube and look at me. Look at me right.
Wait a minute. You told them to pause the episode. They can't look at you or listen to you or go to YouTube because you already told them to pause the episode.
All right, that's not part of the argument, okay? just because I don't have logic.
Discombobulated. It happens.
All right, listeners, simultaneously listening to my voice, pull up the YouTube video and look at my setup. Anyway, if you are watching on YouTube, you kind of maybe know where I'm going because I believe that this IP is ripe for a very good video game, and I do believe that it could be really, really good in an MMO. I think that the IP, the story, the lore behind it fit in this style of video game. I'm talking Avatar, The Last Airbender.
All right. Fair enough. So we've got, I didn't write them down.
That's right.
He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Yep. He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
The Warriors.
And Avatar.
Yes.
Start swinging.
Right. So, so Masters of the Universe, and I want to be very specific about calling it out as the Masters of the Universe and not just a He-Man game. Because a lot of MMOs started with 2 factions, good versus evil. Then MMOs evolved and they realized, you know what, there is nuance, there is black and white, there are shades of gray. There's a shade of gray. They added 3 factions. We're going to evolve the MMO again. We're going to have 4 factions, right? So you've got He-Man's group, the Eternians, and, those good guys. That is one faction. And they will work with other factions. But then you've got Skeletor's group and faction. But then you also have She-Ra, right? And her people on that goofy world that she is not Eternia, she is on, and her faction. And then you've got the forces of Hordak and their faction. So you're going to have 4 different factions, 2 that are aligned with good, 2 that are aligned with evil. But at any given time, there can be instances where one group will have to align themselves with a group that doesn't necessarily seem like they should align themselves with in order to take down a common foe. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and that means that Hordak may become the friend of She-Ra against Skeletor. There are lots of different things that you can do with that, as you create your character may be like part of their goal is to become the master of the universe and get the power sword and have the power. And as they go through adventures and they get stories and they, talk to NPCs and do side quests, it's all in the guise and in the direction to accomplish that goal of becoming the master of the universe.
All right. Kahlief, what you got?
So, as a big fan of the classic iconic movie, The Warriors, it is a easy analog to the MMO space, not only for what you usually do within an MMO, which is trying to capture as much space as you can for your individual faction, but there's already baked in rivalries that will go along with a game like that, alongside a interesting landscape in New York City that never gets enough love within the video game spaces in a real way. I'm talking about not just Manhattan. It's not just Manhattan. Right. You have boroughs, you have actual other spaces in the New York area that you could occupy and use as the backdrop for your game. Doing a quick Google search, I saw that there were about 16 different actual gangs within that world, which means you have so many different ways that you could build out the ways you want to think about, how close do you want to match those to the iconic kind of characters and things like that. I think you will have a really interesting way in the way you think about the archetypes that you kind of already see too within MMO spaces of mages and warriors and healers and all those things, where that even gets a chance to expand too, where you change the way that you think about the archetypes in a game like that across that. I think it is a perfect connective world that would be easily would fit really well within MMO style than any other thing that I can think of currently. So I would say, you have an already good foundation for where you could potentially go with a game like that, with those kinds of classes, with those kinds of factions. And I think it would be really cool in terms of the customization perspective, because they already have great costumes within it that you'd be able to expand on. So that's my pitch on that one.
All right. Warriors. Mike, more on Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Did he just call you a moron?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard.
More on. I feel like there was good enough space there. More on.
No, there wasn't.
Tell us how you really feel, Jelly.
So I need to go help out the wife with the kids. So I'm going to make a really, really good argument here. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a page a little bit from Cicero's playbook. Talking about 4 factions, it's already built into Avatar: The Last Airbender and its lore. There's the Fire Nation, there's the Air Nation, there is Water Nation, and there is the Earth Nation. These 4 different elements that automatically play into and facilitate your character builder, basically. I'm going to break it down to the MMO, right? Like, you have your character builder, you could choose which nation you're a part of, but also what I really like about this is I think that you can add a little subtle nuances to your character builder in this way. Let's say you are a prodigy, so to speak, and you're from the Earth Kingdom. Well, you already know how to bend metal because you are a prodigy, or you choose your character to start off just as an earthbender, but sorry, I would be earthbender, by the way, if I was playing. That's why I'm going with this. Let's say you are an earthbender and you really want to play through like a campaign style thing where you grow and you learn and you become a metal bender and you become these subtle nuances into your bending. Well, consider firebending as well. You can add lightning to it. Maybe you're evil right off the bat, and you have that lightning. And so I do believe that this would kind of be set into the period of the actual show Avatar, because I think you need somewhat of like the villain nation, right? You need that Fire Nation that's not looked upon as good guys. And so you're built into that. And then I think the MMO in its completion, and obviously you could add DLC or whatever afterwards, new areas, new arenas where you could bring in your character. But I think it goes to the end of the show where then the Fire Nation becomes friends with, Avatar, Avatar Aang and stuff like that. And you kind of bring peace to the nations, and then maybe it goes into Korra's timeline afterwards. But the one mechanic that I do want to share with you, and maybe this will convince you, Jelly, to give me the win. What's really cool about the Avatar lore is that when an Avatar dies, the Avatar is passed on to the next person. And so I think what would be cool is a mechanic built into the game where maybe it's on a weekly basis. There is one person in your server, or maybe two people or whatever, who is the Avatar. And then after that week, it goes to a different character. And then you have the ability to not only have fun with your own nation that you're a part of, the own bending that you are, but you get the opportunity to play with all four bending in 1 week, or maybe even like a 3-day time, just to keep it a little bit more fresh. And I know there's I know what your argument's going to say. Oh, you'll never be the Avatar because there's a billion people in this server. So I know what you're going to say. And Cicero, you were going to say that, not Kahlief. But I think it would be cool. Maybe you have a little bit smaller servers, maybe something like that. But I think it'd be cool to build in that kind of type of mechanic where you are, everybody is getting the chance to go into the avatar state, so to speak. Because let's be honest, to bend all four would be the dream, but you can't really, because not everybody is the Avatar. Oh, and I have Aang as a poster, so you should let me win. All right. Have fun. I will probably be back, but I will talk to you.
All right.
Let's keep fighting, guys.
Right.
So we've got Mike made a great argument there for The Last Airbender. He's got a poster. I need a little bit extra on Masters of the Universe and a touch more on Warriors. I want to know a little more about the game itself.
Sure.
And then I'll make a decision.
All right. Well, so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the game itself, and Ka brought up a great point about archetypes, right? It's Masters of the Universe. You've got your archetypes there, right? You've got your warriors, you've got your mages, you've got your healers, the sorcerer, sorceress, and and then you've got kind of like your thief, stealth kind of, your Teelas. You've got all sorts of different types of characters and archetypes, and then you've got the heroes gallery and the rogues gallery of like creature and character archetypes that you can use to build all sorts of weird creations. Imagine what type of powers that you would have as Stinkor, or the types, like the your ability to control creatures as Beastman, and like your ability to use weapons as the Man-at-Arms, your ability to be a tank as Ram Man. Like all of those things are they're baked into the soup. They're baked into the cake that is Masters of the Universe. But
baked
here
into the
is
soup,
one,
I like it.
Right, baked into the soup. There is one component that is inherent in Masters of the Universe that's not inherent in either of these other two games, that is essential to a great MMO. What MMO is great that doesn't allow for your character to have a companion, to have a steed, to have something they can ride. And Masters of the Universe has plenty of those. We've got Battle Cat, right? She-Ra's got her own flying unicorn thingy, a spirit, and even Skeletor's got his own blue Battle Cat, or blue and orange, or whatever. It's like it's Mets Knicks Battle Cat. But like, you need those companions, right? And they need to make sense within the world, and they already exist within the world of Masters of the Universe. They're right there. It is ready made for this type of game style, this genre.
All right. Panther is what you were thinking, but I got
Panther.
you.
Panther.
I had the velvety Panther toy.
Yes.
But
yes.
Besides the point, and the Skeletor with the switchy heads. Kahlief, continue.
I think because we have one man, Dan, who can't defend himself. What the hell is the Airbender anyway? Anyway,
right.
That's one. Two.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know what the hell that is. Come on, what is
It's
airbending?
such a good show.
I airbend every time I'm in the
After I go to
bathroom.
Taco Bell, I airbend all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. You know, garlic bread
Avatar,
makes
The
me
Last
airbend
Airbender.
all the time.
Oh, poor Mike. Mike, when you listen to this, I'm sorry.
Mike is gonna be like, "Oh my God, Kahlief is a terrible human being." I appreciate where C is going with his archetype kind of layer there. I think the one thing that gives me the upper hand when it comes to a conversation around this and my pick is that one of the biggest parts of the MMO space, besides the archetypes and besides the kind of allegiances and alliances that you have within that, is when you go into an MMO, you are a minion, basically. You're a minion of this larger faction. You're kind of a nobody in that space, building out the way you want to spec out your character, but you're doing it under this umbrella of these other multiple kinds of factions. The beauty of the Warriors is you have a interesting cosmetic layer where everyone is in a motif of their specific faction. So what's cool about that is that you have abilities to play within that aesthetic while also playing into the fact that if you're going to have an MMO which has thousands of people on it, you'll automatically know what side you're on, looking at the characters that you're facing across from you in an easy kind of just like visual way, which I think, one, gives me an upper hand on that part. Two, you can't have mounts in my game because all you have are 5 or 6 trains,
right,
and maybe a ferry. So you win on the mount. You win on the mounts part, unless we're gonna call taxi cabs and Ubers mounts.
Right.
Vespas, scooters.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can also use them as weapons.
Rickshaw.
Yeah.
You're in a handsome cab. Yeah.
I mean, the what do you call it? Those little scooters that you drive around now. The people have been throwing them things off roofs anyway.
Right.
But I think the idea of, again, using the map of New York City as this ever evolving kind of space where even if you want to break it down into the neighborhoods that you're going to be in, you have different layers of the mini map and the larger map that you get a chance to play with in a way that you've never been able to do that with in any other game. And one of the biggest things, if we're thinking about the original question around New World, the biggest thing that everybody is really talking about now is the PvP aspect of this game. And if you are going to do a Warriors game, that is literally the best part that you would have in a game like this, is that PvP aspect of that game, having literal turf wars and rival gangs go at it, which would be super, super cool to see. So that's my pitch for why the Warriors would make a much better MMO than the Water Stirrer or the or He-Man and the rest of the abs in the game.
All right, fair enough. We're talking the 5 boroughs.
We're talking about the 5 boroughs.
Okay, and then
Yes.
that'll be like the map.
That's
not
the
any
entire
bigger.
map.
Okay,
Yep.
that's a big map. To be fair,
It's a big
it
map.
would be a humongous map.
Yeah.
All right. I've heard enough, but man, that's just pooping on Airbender hurts my soul a lot. I don't know if that detracts from it. It's got
That's
mounts
reasonable.
built into it. So Mike's not here to defend, but there are creatures that you ride in that vehicles, things.
I heard of those. Squirtle, right? Is Squirtle
Yeah,
Squirtle
right.
is
And-
not in.
and Bulbasaur?
Yeah, Jigglypuff.
Oh, my Lanta. Mike, empty chair.
Mike is gonna stab me through the
I'm
internet.
so sorry. But I got to base it off the arguments, and Mike is not here to defend any of that. So I'm sorry, Mike. It's between He-Man and the Warriors. I love the idea of the games. I've not seen the Warriors movie. Sadly, I'm looking it up right now. I've read through it. One quick thing: does your character get a unique and fun nickname? Because it looks like they gotta have one.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
that
we
would be a
got
part of the way that you
Swan,
name yourself.
Ajax, Mercy, Rembrandt,
Right?
Cochise, Cowboy
Right?
Snow, Cleon, Vermin.
I'm saying.
Just Fox.
Yeah.
Great names here. So
They're all real groovy.
it's a given, yeah, that you gotta have a cool name.
Right?
I really love the He-Man idea, though. I don't know if I can get over it. I think I'm sold on it. Even though you said not He-Man, you specifically said it's Masters of the Universe, so that we get to include the rest of them.
Right.
I think I'm leaning that way. I'm leaning Masters of the Universe.
Well,
I want to put Airbender
It was the
in
mounts. The mounts were
Right.
good.
Yeah.
there. The
mounts
mounts
was a
were
good
good.
call.
Panther
The
and
mounts was a
Battlecat.
very good call.
Right.
Oh, and they're so built in, recognizable. For those who actually, He-Man's big again, right?
Yeah,
There's,
Masters. I was about to
yeah,
say,
they
Masters
came
of the
back.
Universe is pretty hot right now.
and She-Ra
So,
got her own series. And
that's right. That's Masters of the Universe is pretty hot right now. So
I was
there
gonna
is
say
definitely
you have
room.
to be older, like our
No.
generation, to even know what it is. But that's it.
No,
Thanks,
no,
Netflix.
It's yeah, exactly.
Netflix did it again.
Netflix has 3 different versions of He-Man on right now.
Yeah, they do. They have like the old
Right.
version of it. They
Right.
have the newer, like I don't know. I don't know if I like the animation on the newest one.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
little
so
bit
there's the new what's his name, Kevin Smith one, and now there's going to be
that's
there's
right.
going to be
Kevin Smith.
there's going to be another one, and there are 2 different documentaries talking about He-Man on Netflix.
Damn.
Oh,
Okay.
like the
I mean,
toys they
darn.
made one.
Well, there's toys that made us,
Yeah.
and then there's a feature length documentary dedicated strictly to He-Man. I think it's like By the Power of Grayskull or something like that is the name of it.
Grace. Okay, yeah, I'm Masters of the Universe, and then the other 2 in no particular order because
I have the power.
reasonable.
All right, it is time for the blind quick attack. Now,
All right.
Kahlief, I don't know if you're familiar, but our quick attack questions, they're timed. You have 2 minutes for your entire argument.
Got it.
You have a minute to open, 30 seconds to retort, and then a 30-second closing.
I'm ready.
If we're ready. And I'll have a timer running because that's what I do. You know, makes it easier. It'll be completely backwards on my screen. You'll love it. It's wonderful. Technology's so good. But I hear that both of you are a bit of a 2K, like a nerdum going on here. You kind of like the 2K games a little
Yeah,
bit.
Sure.
So the debate is, other than Michael Jordan, who is the most OP player in 2K history? Now,
Ooh.
don't answer yet.
Okay.
I'll give you a minute to think while I set up my timer.
Mhm.
But when you do, remember 1 minute opener, 1 minute rebuttal, or 30-second rebuttal, 30-second closing. And while I get my thing set up, be thinking of what you want to choose. All right. Now, you are the guest, Kahlief, which means that you hold the power. You have the power to, quote, Masters of the Universe. Do you want to go first, or would you like to hear Cicero's response and then or choice and then respond to it?
I will buck the trend that has happened on this show, and I will give Cicero the first pick of the question.
So Cicero,
Yes.
ball's in your court.
Yes.
When you start speaking, I will start my timer. I will cut you off after 1 minute by making weird, obnoxious noises so that the listeners don't have to hear any more of what you're saying, because after 1 minute, it's garbage anyways.
So I will start by saying, I feel sorry for your mother. So, most OP character that is not MJ is 2K17 Steph Curry. This was the year after Steph Curry started kind of rewriting the rules of what was okay in actual basketball, and started shooting from the logo and half court. And 2K16 didn't reflect how his incredible range, and 2K17 and beyond has, but 2K17, it started just with Steph Curry. So not even your player had the ability to shoot threes the way that Steph Curry could, and he could get greens from the top circle after the half court line. Steph Curry, OP, 2K17.
All right, perfect. And keeping it under time, which is what I like to hear. Kahlief, I hope you have had time to think of your player. When you begin talking, we will start the timer.
I would say that my call for the most OP player of 2K of all time is Kaka Beware of the New York Knicks. My created player was the best player of all 2K series, because not only was he a rapper, not only was he an entrepreneur, not only did he get clothing from State Farm, not only did he become a person that was on a billboard after his first game in the league and was also the MVP of every season that he played in, he was also the only player that had an entire mode wrapped around his career. It was Kaka Beware, Kahlief Adams, aka Leafy Green. All of those characters were the most OP characters in the 2K franchise.
And keeping it in under a minute, I'm surprised, I'm impressed, I'm excited to see where this goes and how Cicero rebuts this. So, without further ado, Cicero, when you're ready, I've got my timer ready, and when you begin talking, I'll start the timer.
Well, Kyle, that's nice, Leafy Green. I heard stories of Leafy Green, but, here's the problem with Leafy Green is that only you know those stories. They're like a myth. They're like a legend. They're like your girlfriend that lives in Canada. Only you know about her because nobody else can play as Leafy Green, because that is your character. Everything you said about him may be correct, but I won't know because I don't get to play him, but I can play as Steph Curry 2K17.
Ooh, just in time sneaking it in there. All right. Kahlief, you've got the rebut when you're ready.
Steph Curry 2017, was it 2017?
Yeah.
Was definitely fantastic, but he also was a character and a player that was very, very susceptible to online lag, dependent upon how well you played, where you lived, the server that you were on, and the magical thing that actually beats everybody's pick, which is the internet and the DNS settings on the servers that were there in 2K.
All right. Okay. It was a good rebuttal. I like it. Points are valid.
There you go.
We've got...
I'm high-fiving you through the internet.
Right.
We have 30 seconds for our closing arguments. Now, when you're ready, Cicero, I am too.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to say that, there are times when a player in a sports game does certain things in real life that seem impossible, and then the video game has to catch up, as opposed to the other way around. Steph Curry in 2016 was that guy, and kind of still is that guy, and has really fundamentally changed the way 2K is played. But the most OP character in all sports of all time is Mike Vick.
Okay. Interesting. Kahlief, ball's in your court. Closing
Hey,
when you're
you made
ready.
a sports ball reference. Good job.
Leafy Green, a.k.a. Kaka Beware, a.k.a. Kahlief Adams, a.k.a. my player, a.k.a. the only player in the 2K series to have an actual rival named after, or have a rival who is made specifically for him in the game. I am the only player in 2K that had Spike Lee write an entire story about my journey into the NBA. So he's the winner.
You freaking and vibing.
Freaking and vibing.
Mike, you heard a majority of the arguments, and I'm going to need some help here. Obviously, I'm not a sports ball kind of guy. And they seem to have taken this one for a turn that I wasn't expecting.
Oh, face hurts.
So
You
after
want me to
hearing,
judge?
I would love for your help on this. Yeah, share the gavel in this ruling.
So, Steph Curry is certainly OP, especially during those years. In 2K, probably still is. I haven't played 2K in several years just because of the microtransactions. I refuse to get into that or support that in any monetary value. So I have to give it though to Kahlief. He pulled it out of the hat. Like I'm sorry, Cicero. I gotta give it to him. That was so creative
with his fake character.
Yep.
Look at that! Look at that!
Such a creative argument.
Man,
I appreciate that argument. I mean, technically, your my player is the most highest ceiling character in the game because you could just pay VC to grow him.
Right. Yeah. Except, yeah, Kaz Canadian girlfriend couldn't come down because there was something wrong with her passport. So
wrong name on it.
Right.
Leafy Green is not legal. It's not a legal name.
Yeah, it was not his legal name.
It is neither
Mama
here
named
nor
Clay.
there.
Mama named Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
When I texted Jelly that question, I did not think of my player and how that would be brought into the equation. So good job. I like the creativity.
Well, there you go. You broke it. You broke it. Good
It
job.
was a great argument.
Well
I
done.
just didn't know
Well
where to take it. I've never played a 2K game. I've never.
Well
I think the only basketball game I've ever played was NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh,
Oh
well,
wow.
that's a good one to
Yeah,
win.
which was a fantastic game. Yeah.
Amazing game.
Not only you didn't even play Double Dribble, which could have been a Konami game that we reimagined.
Oh yeah.
I did not.
The real question
never
is,
played
did I win that one, the MMO one?
No, you did not, sir.
Mm-mm.
No,
When
did
you
not.
listen back, I'm excited for you. That's all
I
I'm
am
saying.
very excited for you to
Right
listen
there.
back to the show.
I thought that was such a good pitch.
It was a
was.
very good pitch. No, it was very
good pitch.
Not taking
Very
anything
good
from.
pitch.
I'm not detracting from the pitch.
Nope.
You just couldn't defend yourself when you were gone. So
Yeah,
it's it. All right, leaderboard time. Heyo, it's time. This week's leaderboard is the top 5 Japanese-made games, and thankfully they make a absolute metric poop ton of games. So we've got a lot to choose from. I PG'd it up for us. There we go, family friendly. And sticking with the usual here, Kahlief, you are our guest, and therefore you get to choose first. And the way we do this is we pick 3 apiece, and then you get one must-have on the list, and we debate the other ones. So it's actually a top 6 this week because there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
We need that extra space. So I would like for you to pick 3 games, the top 3 Japanese-made games in your opinion.
Ooh, top 3 Japanese games, in my opinion, are wow. I would say I think Metal Gear fits.
Yeah.
Metal Gear fits. It's a Japanese
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Metal
Very
Gear would
Japanese.
go into that into that list.
Which one? Solid? Metal Gear? Metal Gear Solid 2? Metal Gear 2?
Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid
not
3.
three.
Even though 3 is your favorite game of all time.
3 is my favorite, but 2 changed the game.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we'll do 2.
So 2
Cool.
Metal Gear 2 and 3.
All right, cool.
So that's 2 games.
Oh, you're choosing both of them?
Yes, I'm choosing both of them.
All right.
And then my third would be Shadows of the Damned would be my third.
Okay.
That is a very Japanese game
Yes.
that was really shoehorned into very Americanness in a not necessarily great way, but in the best way.
All right.
All right.
It has me up here next, but I always go last in these. So I'm sticking to it.
I just put names in places.
Cicero, you're up.
All right. So Kai got the Metal Gears. I'm gonna go a very Japanese game that covers everything, and that's Near Automata.
Near Automata.
Yeah.
True.
There's an I in there somewhere, but
Is
but we
there?
know what we're talking about.
Nobody sees my list. It's just for me
You're
to
right,
be able to say. And as long as I enunciate it properly, we're good.
The second game on my list may seem like a weird one, but it's not, and that is Strider.
Ooh.
And the arcade version, so the version that I guess people have played more recently, Strider, and not the NES version, which is one of my favorite games of all time, the NES version of Strider, because it's a completely different game. So that is my second game. My third game, I'm very, very sorry, Mike, but my third game is Resident Evil.
I wasn't going to take it. It's all good.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, is it going to be Resident Evil? Is it going to be RE2? I think I'm going to go with the original Resident Evil.
OG Resident Evil.
OG Resident Evil.
That's one that I've actually played before.
There you go.
Good choice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't do horror games, by the way, Kahlief. Do not do them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
those
Kai
are
does
scary.
he does that work for both of us, Jelly.
Perfect. Enjoy. I hope you love them. Yep. No.
They're so good. So good.
I bet they are, but if you don't like feeling nervous and then anxious and then like sweating while you're playing video games, it's just I'm out.
Right.
I'll tag you in anytime. They're all
down.
yours.
We'll co-op some horror games together.
Nope. I'll watch you play them on stream sometime.
Right.
All right.
That's
Between
as
my
close
fingers.
as I'll get to it.
Right.
All right, Mike, you're up. Your list of 3.
One of my favorite games of all time, Pokemon Silver. It's probably my favorite Pokemon of all time. So got to put that up there.
They're all the same game.
Basically, yep. But they're still great.
It's still my favorite. Don't yell
all
at
right,
me.
I guess. All
How do you
right.
pick a
Cloud or
favorite when they're
something.
all the same? Yeah, I know.
Right. Blue Steel. Latigra. It's the same look.
Yeah. This one's silver. Anyway, I'm also going to say what I believe is one of the greatest platformers of all time, and that's Super Mario Odyssey. It's probably my favorite 3D Mario. I know it's debatable, but I also think it's the best iteration of Mario. So, Finally, a little bit out of left field, but I want to throw some praise to this game because I played it nonstop on the Xbox, and I played it with the character Spawn. Do you know what game it is?
Oh,
Absolutely
gosh.
not. Keep going.
Is that
Soul
Spawn?
Calibur 2.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Okay. I thought you were talking about the Spawn game.
No.
Because that game was terrible. All right. Yes.
Did that have John Leguizamo in it?
The Spawn game? No. It had bad mechanics in it.
That
A
is
lot of
also
video games have that in it, to be fair.
Starring
true.
bad mechanics.
Starring bad mechanics. We have, maybe that'll be our top 5 next time. Top 5 games with the worst mechanics of all time.
We just talked about Final Fantasy VII already. We don't.
I can't believe the mechanics are sound. Good. You want to add somebody? You can add Kahlief Adams. I don't know what your Twitter is. You can plug it, but you add him.
You did it.
Don't you put that evil on me?
Don't you put that evil on me? Kahlief Adams.
Don't you put that evil
can
on
add-
me?
Don't you put
This
that
man.
evil on me?
All right, my top 3. We're going way back to the way back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be Pac-Man's on there, right?
Ooh.
Oh, or
Good
no,
call.
I'm doing Space Invaders because I could play that on my TI 83 plus.
Ooh.
Okay.
We going
Shout out to that.
calculator, huh?
Bro, I used to play that in class, and my teacher would be so mad because I was good at math, so I was playing Space Invaders while he was trying to teach, and then I would still be able to answer the questions and solve.
Did it make noise?
What? Oh no, I made noise.
Oh.
I'll get you. And he's like, "What are you doing on your calculator?" I'm like, "Math?" Question mark?
Bro.
Well, I mean, you weren't wrong.
Yeah.
Kind
Right,
of.
right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
statistically
Calculations
impossible
and
to beat that
statistics.
thing.
Yeah, that's true. Part 2. Yeah.
All right, number 2. Let's see. We got Space Invaders. Should I put Zelda on there and put it on this list since I missed last week and they didn't let me? I'm doing it.
That was funny.
Do it.
That was
believe.
not funny. Not funny. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, please go ahead and listen to last week's episode and watch me get absolutely handed my own behind when I had just the carpet ripped out from under me. The saddest thing that's probably ever happened to me on this show. It was awful.
They 3-card Monty grifted you. It was
so
hard.
impressive.
I kid you not.
So
I kid you
hard.
not. You and Justin picked on him the week before, and then him and Justin and Brian picked on him this week. Like,
Dude, yeah, from Forspoken straight over to Ocarina of Time getting absolutely
you
grifted.
guys have not been nice to Jelly recently.
Oh, man.
I had 2 rough weeks on here. My final one, because it's been brought up too many times, is obviously Final Fantasy, and we're going OG Final Fantasy VII,
Okay.
not the remake.
You should put that as a must-have in.
I can't put it as my must-have because Ocarina of
mean
Time has to be my
Right.
must-have. I will take the L on Final Fantasy, but I'm not taking it on Zelda again.
There you go. All right.
No, sir. All right. Kahlief, what's your must-have?
Must have is absolutely Metal Gear Solid 3. Absolute.
All right. Cicero, must-have game.
Must have is Resident Evil.
And Mike.
My must-have game is Super Mario Odyssey.
All right. And obviously mine has to be Ocarina of Time.
Final Fantasy 7.
I'm not going to do that, even though I want to.
I was hoping for it.
Ocarina, Odd Time.
We're good. Yep. All right.
yeah.
We've got 2 spots and a bunch of games to fill it. I was going to do the math, but it escapes me. It's too late. 2 spots, ton of games. What belongs on this list? we've got to narrow it down. So left on the field, we have Metal Gear Solid 2, Shadows of the Damned. We've got Space Invaders, Final Fantasy 7, Nier Automata, Strider, Pokemon Silver, and Soul Calibur 2.
I personally am. I will always go OG, so I will argue for Space Invaders.
Obviously,
I was gonna vote for Space Invaders too.
I think I'm
it's
with
an
it too.
easy one.
That fundamentally changed the arcade scene forever.
Right.
Yep.
And what a fun game.
Yes.
You can play it on a calculator. I just found out.
Yeah.
TI-80, TI-81 plus and above, I think. Or silver back then and above. But nerdy graphing calculators. Super fun. One spot. What
So
needs to
my
be
other
there?
argument is this.
Final Fantasy 7. I got you.
And that is there are several Japanese fighting games that did not make this list.
Street
Ooh.
Fighter.
But Soul Calibur 2 did. And I think in an effort to represent all fighting games, Soul Calibur 2 should be on our list.
Wow.
What if we Soul Calibur 2 and then remove that and then put Street Fighter?
Then Street Fighter would absolutely have to be on any list.
Don't you take Mike's stuff away?
Right. It just like, hey,
Just
Mike, you have no
his
vote.
actual thing.
Thank you, Kahlief.
So
Thank you.
here's what we'll do.
But it's got to be Street Fighter 2. It can't be the original Street Fighter.
Yeah, the regular one was whack.
I just forget that there was a regular one, and Street Fighter is always. Mike is correcting it as I'm writing
Oh wow!
Right.
In the actual
it. Dude,
document.
dirty.
Right. So
That's okay.
so
I
he,
still have hosting privileges here.
while Mike's doing that, let me pose a philosophical existential question to you guys. Is Street Fighter 2 the Fortnite battle royale of like fighting games?
No, it's the
Is it
Frogger
the same
battle royale of fighting games.
in so much that when people talk about Street Fighter, they mean, when they say the original Street Fighter, they mean Street Fighter 2 in the same way that when they refer to Fortnite, they are only referring to Fortnite Battle Royale and not Fortnite Save the World, not the original game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Just because,
I mean,
just
no,
because
there's
you
most
make
people don't even
good
remember that
points
Save the World's
doesn't
there
mean
at this
I don't
point.
want
Right.
Soul Calibur 2 on there. You could.
It's
you
a fair
could
point.
I
put
said
it
Soul
back,
Calibur 2.
You could put it back.
That's reasonable.
No, here's what we'll do. We're just gonna change that final spot because it's a top 5. We've got top 5. We technically have a top 6, and then in that 6th spot, it's going to be Soul Calibur 2, but asterisked with a little bit of the fighting genre and to necessitate that Street Fighter 2 and everything else like it. So in no particular order, for those still here with us, as we've gotten through our leaderboard, we have our top 5, aka 6, with an honorable mention, Japanese-made games. Again, no particular order here. Metal Gear Solid 3, Resident Evil, Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Suck It, Brian and Justin, Space Invaders, Soul Calibur 2, and all the other fighting games like Street Fighter 2, aka Street Fighter, because we don't need to say one.
I thought you were going to say, in no particular order, Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I already did that once. It felt like a little yucky to do it again, but I had to get that extra dig. Justin, Brian, I love you. You guys were wonderful guests. But yeah, that happened right there in your face. Speaking of wonderful guests, Kahlief, you have been just the best guest. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us. All the laughs, all the fun. I hope you had a good time. Did you have fun here on Test Your Might?
I had a blast. I've had a chance to listen to some episodes, and it's been so good to see the energy that you all have together. It has been even better getting a chance to sit in the hot seat and rock with y'all.
I'm glad you've been
and do it.
Yes,
I would,
wonderful.
and I will even say that for the top 5 Japanese list, I would have actually taken out Soul Calibur and put Final Fantasy 7 in there. as the last game on there. Although I don't like it, I understand its cultural significance.
Okay.
It is a huge
Spicy.
It changed everything in a big way.
I see what's happening. He's buttering me up for next time he's on the show. That's what's
I'm
really
so
going
mad
on.
at you because you didn't give me my Warriors win for the MMO. I'm mad at you.
Masters of the Universe was such a good. It was such a good, like, well fought choice.
Wasn't better than Avatar.
He-Man has a bowl cut. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
He has
I
a bowl.
can't
He has
say
a bowl
he
cut.
doesn't.
He has a bowl cut hairstyle. I don't think he wins after that. No, just one.
You just mad because you ain't got no hair.
That's reason. I'm saying that's reasonable. That's a reasonable reason.
I totally have hair. What?
Hey, I'm rocking my reverse friar tuck. I'm not mad at
There
it.
you go.
There we go.
But seriously, thank you so much for having me. It has been amazingly cool to meet you, Jelly, and Mike, and see. I love you, fam. I'm happy to see that this is you getting to do the thing that you do best, and that is argue with my suckers on the argument on the internet.
Yes.
Which is dope. It is super, super cool. So thank you so much for having me, and I'd love to come back and definitely do this again.
You
That would
are
be super fun.
welcome.
Plug your stuff one more time, man.
Yep. Plug SpawnOnMe. Let's hear what you do.
Check it out every Friday on all podcast platforms. You can check it out. Again, hosted by our wonderful folks over at Fanbyte. We have some cool stuff coming up in the next couple of months as well. We're doing a really big giveaway right now as of this recording, but that's going to be going up in the next couple of days as well. Going to be finishing up. We're also going to be doing the Spawnies is going to be returning.
Ooh, nice.
After a very long hiatus. Our Game of the Year conversation is restarting there. And I can't say exactly what is happening yet, but if you are a fan of the NFL co-streams that we did last year, you may want to check out the show again in the next couple of weeks, because we may be doing something alongside the NFL again in streaming capacity that I can't say because NDAs and stuff yet, but it might be a thing. So make sure you're checking out all the stuff.
Big fat hint.
The Chicago Sports Network will be making a return very, very soon. So you'll see that happening very, very soon. So again,
Nice.
gents, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast, and I'd love to argue again with all of you very, very soon, because it was super fun.
And we would love to have you.
Yes.
If you're still here watching, listening, we love you. We appreciate you, and we thank you. It is just our pleasure to do this, and we love that you guys are here enjoying it as we enjoy doing it for you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, to rate us on whatever you're listening, and to have a wonderful rest of your day. We love you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.